and good with words, but I'm really looking forward to it. I mean, I think everybody is. They've from all the reports, they've pumped just a ton of money and effort into making it a top-notch facility and the largest Boy Scout facility in the world. So for them to open their doors and open their property up and allow us to come there and make a track, I think is going to be pretty cool. So nobody knows what the train holds, but it's a great facility, top-notch, world-class.
Sure, and looking forward to it. Do want to remind folks, though, that if you're going to be camping there, if you're going to be coming, you're going to be staying for the weekend, they will be collecting an extra $20 camping fee, and that is for the entire weekend. It's not $20 a night. It's $20 for the weekend. But it goes to a great cause. I mean, heck, I mean, just think of it as a donation to the future of the youth, I guess, in one big way.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, the Boy Scouts of America, it's a massive organization, and to anybody who's a loyal GNCC supporter and enthusiast of the sport, obviously to be able to reach out to, and I believe it is actually the Scouts of America now, or has been, so, you know, to reach out to young men and young women and afford them the opportunity to see what GNCC and off-road racing is all about. You know, who knows, we could potentially pick up thousands of new fans and hundreds or even thousands of new riders. So it's well worth the extra $20 for the camping fee, and like I said, from all accounts, it's a really nice facility, so it'll be well worth it.
All righty, Johnny, thanks, and we'll be talking with you on Racer TV a little later today. Johnny going over and assuming his role and his position here for the 10 o'clock race, which is mentor and mechanic and pit board operator, gas man, and all that for Becca Sheets here in this WXC class coming up here in just a few moments. I got to say, I am a little bit surprised that we're on this delay, that it's taking so long for the guys to get in to give us this this course description, but at the same time, almost maybe not so. I did hear, and this is an odd thing, I was listening to the radio, and we were talking, or they were talking about a mud hole. Now, I don't know if I was hearing things or what, but, you know, with all this dust and everything, and then hear them talk about mud holes, I thought, well, that was a pretty cool thing, in my opinion. So nice to know that the course designers, Jared and, of course, Ryan, were able to find some mud out there to keep it true to the nature of GNCC racing. I'm sure there's a few little low-lying areas out there that might be holding some stuff. And I don't know if you guys noticed. I know I talked to a few people that were outside the area. They said, man, it rained like you wouldn't believe at my house, or it rained over here where we were at. You guys didn't even get anything here. And I was like, no. I said, the amazing thing was, you look all around us last night, if you were here, there was lightning and clouds all around us, and there was like a little bit of a mist, a couple of drops of rain that fell a couple times. But you look at the radar, and it was like there was a big hole all around the Mason-Dixon, Matthews Farms, and this GNCC, and we didn't get any rain last night. So we were pretty blessed, although I think a little bit might have made for some knocking down the dust, but at the same time, this is a nice new element that we're faced with here for 2019, especially with all the obvious mud that we had earlier this year. And I'm not saying we haven't had some dust this year. It's just that we had so much mud in the early part of the year that it kind of, you forget about any dust that may have happened out there. But again, folks, this is round 11. Round 12 will be our penultimate round. That'll be taking place of the old St. Clairsville round of racing when we go to the new place down near Summersville and well, Beckley, I guess it would be. And it's certainly going to hold a lot for folks as we head into the Ironman. I don't know if you've been hearing, but we got some big things going on as far as Ironman GNCC is concerned, and we'll see some pretty cool things going on with that. Hey, we got Carl over here. You might be acquainted with him. I've been acquainted with him and still trying to commit name to memory, but face is no problem. I see Carl's face, I think, Moose Racing, and we say good morning to you, Carl. How you doing?
Good, thanks, Rodney. How are you?
Doing wonderful, man. And I know that you guys have been coming out, hanging out, and checking out some of the latest GNCCs, of course. But I also know that recently, late August or so, maybe early August, you guys released the 2020 line of product that that Moose Racing has.
Yeah, the new line of product is really good. We strive to better it every year and improve our line. So the new stuff's really good.
Really good stuff, and it's cutting-edge fashion too. So stop over. It's not only fashionable, but it's practical. You get to use that stuff in the best ways. Well, it fits you right, it rides right, it wears right. Everything that needs to be done as far as your riding apparel. Hey, Ken Hill, while I got a minute here. Was he here? Oh, you there? I didn't see you, man. You're gonna have to start wearing a big something on top of your head. How long you been here?
About an hour.
About an hour. Well, I looked for you for an hour and a half, man. I'm sorry. I guess after a half hour I got lost. But, dude, obviously we've got some great things going out there. That wow, big youth race there this morning. Big historical race that's taking place this weekend. And we got another one coming up here at 10 o'clock. I know you guys got a good track for them.
Yeah, Tim Ford, you hit the nail on the head there, Rodney. Good news for you guys is the fog and the mist are gone now, because that was, I feel for these youth guys. That first lap, I cooked goggles myself. I was wiping them best I could, but you go back in the woods and hit the dust, and it would just coat everything wet that was on your goggles already. So luckily, you guys shouldn't have to deal with that too much. You still get a little bit of that moisture in the air, but not bad. You're going to take off from the start here, work your way over to the woods. You're going through this section of woods to the left of the start, right there on the other side of that tall fence. You're only doing that off the start. It's about a half mile or so, and you're going to cross over the road up above the front gate and head straight over to the finish line and bypass the finish this first time by. That means your first lap is actually going to be just a little bit longer than the others. You're heading out. You got the first mile or so, you're kind of in grass track, in the woods, in grass track, back and forth. Take you out to the 1 mile mark. And then just past the 1, you got a little climb up the hill, pop out in a big grass track section, run out and around that. You're going to drop into some more woods. It'll take you over to the 2 mile mark. Good section in there, ups and downs, a little bit of off camber, nothing too difficult. It's going to bring you up back behind Pro Pits. You'll run all the way down behind Pro Pits, back out the fence again and back into the woods over to the 3 mile mark. Little climb in there, bring you back over underneath the power line and head back into some more woods. All the way to the 4 mile mark. Same thing. If you hadn't noticed, this property rolls a lot, so there's lots of ups and downs. That's pretty much what you're doing all day long. There's nothing too steep out there, but there's just gently rolling hills everywhere you go around here. That'll take you to the 4 mile mark, work your way out through that, through a little bit faster trail, and you're heading out towards the 5. Right before the 5 mile mark, you guys are going to cross the state line into West Virginia. Run out and around that section there. The West Virginia section takes you past the 5 mile mark, the 6 mile mark, the 7 mile mark. You guys won't see the 8 mile mark. It's an afternoon only section. And then you're going to come back into Pennsylvania right around the 9. All of that stuff out there in West Virginia, it's real twisty. The quads rode it yesterday, so it's a little rough in places. But right about a half mile after the 6 mile mark, about the 6.5, you guys are going to split off from that quad trail. It's going to be a mix of some faster stuff and some tighter stuff, zigzaggy back and forth. It'll be brand new trail. Be paying attention to the arrows if you're out front. That's going to take you all the way up to the 7 mile mark, run out and around, a couple little off cameras, a couple little ups and downs, and then you're going to come back over into Pennsylvania, over to the 9 mile mark, short little grass track section, go back in the woods again. That'll take you out to the 10 mile mark, and then you're kind of zigzagging back and forth below the finish through some little bit tighter stuff. Bring you up into the finish line. So you guys are right around, we'll call it 10.5 miles. We didn't really cut much out for you guys. Great stuff out there, lots of fun. So good luck, be safe, have fun, and pay attention to those arrows, everybody.
All right, thanks a lot, Bolton. And remember, everyone, safety first. GNCC Racing, like all motorsports, can be dangerous. Racers, now that you have had an opportunity to inspect the course, have heard the race procedures and a description of the course, if you feel that either you or your machine is not prepared, then now is the time for you to withdraw for a complete refund of your entry fee, no questions asked. Race fans, due to the nature of GNCC racing, there is no fence barrier around the course. It is your responsibility to keep yourself and your children a safe distance from the course. Never turn your back on oncoming racers, and remember, stay off the racetrack. Finally, for the safety of everyone, unauthorized drones are prohibited at GNCC and will be confiscated. And now to ask the blessing this morning, Mr. Ricky Towery. Ricky broke it.
Thank you, Rodney. Hey, let's go, Lord, and have a word of prayer together this morning. Heavenly Father, once again, we thank you for bringing us all together safely so we can have a little fun. Just watch over these riders this morning, Lord. Keep them safe. Let them go out there and have a good time together. Once again, watch over the Matthew family in the days and weeks to come, but they may find some comfort through you. Lord, watch over our military men and women in all parts of this world each and every day fighting for our freedom. Lord, every one of us just needs to be thankful that we're here today. It takes so much to make one of these events happen. The landowner, the promoters, the riders, the spectators, each and every one of us. Thank you for letting every one of us have a small part in it. Just take us all home safely when this is over with so we can get back together again one day. In Christ's name we pray, amen.
And now, if you would, please remain standing. Stand at attention, remove those caps, and cross those hearts as we honor the greatest nation in the world with the playing of our national anthem. Well, there you have it, folks. The stage is set, and GNCC racing about to resume here on the state line of Pennsylvania and West Virginia. We know and love as the Mason-Dixon line. And as we get set to roll into this day of racing, we take this opportunity to meet our premier class in this 10 o'clock race, our women of the cross country, the WXC. Let's meet our starting lineup in accordance to points heading into this 11th round of racing. Rolling to the line first today, riding aboard the number 2 from Circleville, Ohio on a Fly Max's Pro Circuit KTM, Becca Sheets. Rolling to the line second today, a multi-time WXC champion from Australia on a Husqvarna Rockstar backed ride, Kayla Jones. Fourth in points, riding aboard the number 650 from New Zealand on an M-Pro Yamaha, Rachel Archer. The number 703 from Bridgeton, New Jersey on a Mike Wheeler Racer's Edge KTM, Cheyenne Phelps. Sixth in points, riding aboard the number 444 from Beloit, Ohio on a Gas Fly Bell Racing back ride, Corey Steed. Seventh in points aboard the 239 from Bertrandville, Pennsylvania to Right Free Ministries, Martin Motorsports KTM, Annalisa Davis. The 483, eighth in points out of Bloomington, Indiana on a Scott Goggles, YNS Designs FC Suspension KTM, Elizabeth Perez. And last and certainly not least, riding aboard the number 4 from Terre Haute, Indiana on a Beta USA Moose and a Rye Beta Ride, Rachel Guttish. And that is your starting lineup for this WXC. And of course, round number 11, the Mason-Dixon GNCC. Our riders make their way onto the start line now as the closing moments here before the continuation of this big battle here on the state line this weekend. And Ricky Towery readies himself as he prepares to orchestrate these starts once again there from the first turn. The start man podium. I just heard all systems go, at least from timing and scoring, so we know we're ready in that department. A thumbs up. And Ricky Towery, a quick check of the watch as he makes his way around and out in the public eye in front of this field of riders, bolstering over 420 riders here today. Ricky waiting for the final all systems go check. I believe they're making sure we have a free and clear start down here now, and Ricky Towery informs the start line 1 minute before we get things underway here on the Matthews family farm. So the clock has begun and the anticipation really begins to heighten here this morning as we continue to battle for the national championship in this women's cross-country class. A former champion in Taylor Jones, and of course the defending champion, or excuse me, the defending champion of Taylor Jones and the former champion of Becca Sheets. Becca leading the point standings at the moment as we shut them down, and less than 30 seconds away from going GNCC racing here on the PA West Virginia state line. And as we take a look at Ricky Towery up in turn number 1, he readies these riders and lets them know it's time to roll in a matter of only 10 seconds for road number 1, the WXC here at the Rocky Mountain ATVMC Mason-Dixon GNCC. Off and rolling we go. Around that first turn, it is the number 1, Taylor Jones, snagging the early lead, the 4:17. The other Husqvarna rider back in that number 2 spot. Sportsman A class coming up next. Buddy Barnes, Grant Kerpman, Dylan Ely, also Eric Young, Peter Nickel, Cody Pingley, Luke Himmler, Braden Moore. 10 seconds. Kevin Johnson, Luke Ross, Peyton Whipke, John Ayers, Nick Smith, Deshaun Horton, Troy Horberty, also John Settler, Randall Urban, Dylan Stevens, Clint Masters, Mason Pratt, Blake Grindstaff, Caleb Williams, Jason Knopp, Zach Murphy, and Zachary Ferentz rounding the first turn. It is the 4:16. That is 5:14 on his helmet. Maybe Kevin Johnson? Nope. I don't know. Maybe that was Deshaun Horton, actually, the 5:34, but here we go. Super Senior A 45+ class in 10 seconds. Scott Kirkhoff, Alan Brown, Leroy Shook, David Mushisco, Christian Broomba, Andrew Tinker, Chuck Ultimus, and Todd Vess. Around that first turn. Oh, it is the 903. That's Todd Vess from Indian Land, South Carolina, on a Rock Hill Power Sports Team Charlotte Promotion back machine. As we go next to the Masters A 50+ class. Once again, Ricky Towery lets them know 10 seconds. Kenny Hawkins, Dr. Steve Thaxton, Ralph B. Horn, also Scott Haynes, Troy Stanley, David Pilcher, Bill Gold, Michael Johnson, Willis West, and Todd Gearing. By the way, I want to say thanks to Todd Gearing. I had a rear end issue in my truck. The rear end went out of my truck. I called Todd at the last moment. He let me borrow a truck to come here this weekend. I really certainly appreciate that. To bring my camper and all. 924 Willis West, OWW there out of Morgantown. Out of Morgantown, Power Sports Walmsley Cycle Outlaw Motorsports machine grabbing the early lead in this Masters A 50+ class. As we go to the Silver Masters A 55+ class, and Ricky Towery says 10 seconds. Steve Lambruno, Ray Fehrenbach, Greg Grimm, Don Bond, also Roy Johnson, Jim Kreister, John Kars, and Norman Turnberg. Wow, John Cars out of Monaca, Pennsylvania, really coming up the inside of that banner line there, grabbing the early lead, it looks like, aboard that KTM. And he's going to battle it out and hang on to it going into turn 3. We go to the Golden Masters A 60-plus class. Mark Michelini, Chris Sumner, John Wagner, Matt Garisick, and Kim Mankey all ready to roll in 10 seconds. And the green flag waves on this one now. Wow, Mankey gets beat off the line. Will he get beat to that second turn in the early lead? It's a side-by-side drag race. Ooh, he does. 6:06, Matt Garisick out of Poland, Ohio. But I think that Mankey will grab the lead after that. But wow, that was a little out of the ordinary, I think. As we go to our next class, 125 BC in 10 seconds. Chase Rutan, Jacob Blythe, Garrett Droppelman, Cody Reese, Ty Ely, Bryson Wilkins, Chase Pinglick, Toby Cleveland, Joseph Cooper, Campbell Knight, Casey Belt, Tyan Thomas, Blake Kohler, Tyler Tichnell, Caleb Crompton, Jarrett Groves, Jocelyn Barnes, Troy Smith, Nicholas Ellison, and Jeremiah Devers. 465, that is Bryson Wilkins from Bratz, West Virginia, and Akenda Tire Outlaw Motorsports Tire Lady backed ride. I went by the Tire Lady there the other day, so I know exactly where she's at. Sportsman B class, 48 riders in this one. Logan Bisbang, also Matthew McCormick, Cody Anderson, Joseph Papa, Stone Clark, Sam Gaines, Ryan Bishop. 10 seconds. Randy Revore, Wyatt Ford, Bryce Cross, Nate Annan, Cameron Ware, Brock Cross, Trenton Wood, Justin Baker, Brandon Reed. Also Nathan Short, Jeremy Stowovi, Braden Sylvester, Ian Smith, Brandon Elzenbarth, Nick Plank, Jacob Claxton, Marshall Corby, Dylan Hayes, Ryan Madison, RJ Brandenburg, Jeremy Skinner, Rusty Brown, Quentin Clark. Also, I believe that was Cameron Ware grabbing the whole shot, but going down there, we also had Rusty Brown, Quentin Clark, Steve Wisnowski, Kevin Donovan, Charles Scott, Paul Fitzwater, Corey Tolliver. Also looking at Cody Van Duzen, Kenny Moore, Austin Alcorn, Cody Moorhead, and Hunter Van Winkle. Or Von Winkle. All right, we're going next to the Super Senior B 45-plus class. 10 seconds. James News, Kevin Grogg, Bill Ross, Chuck Lemaster, our GNCC pastor, Kevin McLaughlin, Billy Evans, Thomas Lambert, Paul Miller, Mark Castile, Jeffrey Flynn, and Dan Stempowski. And here we go. Our GNCC pastor, Chuck Lemaster, riding a 316 out there from Team Faith, but it's the 493 of Jeffrey Flynn from Old Fields, West Virginia, grabbing the early lead in this one. Masters B50-plus class, Kenny Workman, Gary Basang, Tracy Potter, Craig Smith, Raymond Santee, Jeffrey Harms, David Parson, Alejandro Camacho, Richard Zonk, Robert Kadich, also Doug Whitmer, Ed King, George Willits, Doug Phillips, Brett Hayes, Sean Newsom, and Rodney Wood. 10 seconds. And they're off. That 973 of Rodney Wood, what a jump off the line he got. And he's got about 2 bike lengths in turn 1. We turn that turn. Oh, down go. About 4 behind him. He opens up a big lead there at the second turn. So Rodney Wood from Waynesburg, PA, nearly in his back door, in his backyard right now, taking the early lead. Silver Masters B55-plus class, Bernie Redmond, David Graham, Rick Michaels, Timothy Anderson, Marshall Young, Gordon Anderson. Whoa! Jeff Devinson, Michael Erdman, Stephen Bauer, also Mark Greiswich, Adam Prismont, Lightning Weppeler from the home, the excitement capital of the world, and he is the excitement himself. Douglas Palmer, also Brian Kowalchuk, John Selman, and William Klug, ready to roll in 10 seconds. And they're off. By the way, Lightning Weppeler, as I said, he has a place called Lightning Raceway. It's the excitement capital of the world. They're going to have a little racing next weekend. He was telling me there yesterday. You're looking for it. I'm going to try to head on up there. 609 grabbing the early lead. Adam Prismont from Westchester, Ohio, grabbing the early lead in this one. But Looks like we also got our Elite Master 65 plus Gordon Stout and Platinum 70 plus Roger Allen and Tom Levesque. Roger Allen 74 years old. Tom Levesque is 73. 10 seconds. And they're off. By golly, they go pretty doggone fast. Who's going to grab this early lead? Is it going to be the Elite Master 65 plus class rider? At 263 it is Gordon Stout, but between the Platinum, that's the 412 machine, Roger Allen, the 74-year-old rider from Warren, Pennsylvania, grabbing the early lead in this one. Gold Masters BC, these riders 60 years of age and older. Mark Randolph, Jim Douglas, Mike Lewis, Don Salvador, Larry Root, Tim Leon, Dan Murray, and Kevin Outland. 10 seconds. I don't know if you noticed, but Ricky Towery, as these guys get older, he walks closer to the starting line. So he can see. I'm just kidding, but he does, but it's just the way the start works. It is the 290. Mark Randolph out of Baltimore, Ohio, grabbing the early lead in this Gold Masters 60 plus class. It's the women's.
Yes, a 250C Junior 25 plus class. John Sharp, Dominic Loretta, Tyler Compton, Mason Stevens, Benjamin Ingold, Michael Building, Tyler Shepard, Gregory Mason. Going down and bouncing right back up like that. Open 6 count at 16 to 24. Dylan Fleming, Logan Phillips, Tyler Maynard, Jordan Miller, Nico Howard, Anton Bellucci, Cody Walker, Robbie Wilson, Thomas Earl, Lucas Lakewood, Casey Jason, Shane Felton, Frank Magnus, Ryan Bauer, Jameson Hardy, Michael Williams, also Scott Hicks, Brian Gordman, Aaron Wishart, George Wojciech, Daryl Stone, Jeff Lester, Greg Smith, Jeff Keller, Warren Stephen, and also Brent Whalen. I got to tell you, it's been a while since I've done that. I used to get it down. They got the 487 back in the window. That's Jeff Rodriguez, Ryan Yeckley, David Lechler. He's blue by Walter Douglas, Bailey, Justin Wood, TJ Henderson, Adam Nashville, Kevin Blood, Aaron Ellis, Cody Costa, Stephen Moore, Tom Berry, Kevin Frisco, and Jason Schmidt. Against the 7-0. Jeffrey Longsley, also Cody Linda, Marty Hughes, 10 seconds. Griffin Puckett, Matthew Ivory, and Joseph Bircher. All right, round of the first turn. 7:47. Open C Junior 25 plus class coming up next. Joseph Murray and Jesse Fulmer, Wade Kildo, Jesse Carson, Wesley Lester, Riley Ford. 10 seconds. Michael Conrad, Waylon Couchet, Lauren George, Nathan Dickey, Christopher Martin, Anthony Rush. Let's see. 448 on the expectation on 691. That's Christopher Martin. 17 Cole, Neil Lee Hovatter, Carter Holzer, Aaron Hart, Sean Sundley, Tommy Hoffman, Ethan Dingle, Peter Ruse, Amy Schultz, also Ben Thomason. Less than 10, Cody Yule, Riley Boats, Burke, Marsiglia, Ryan Austin Walsh, and Gunnar Moore. Randy Senior, Austin Lindsay, Andrew Stevens, Zach Baker, Cody King, and Kyle Butler. 10 seconds. And off we go. GNCC 16 up. 125. All right, and then number 520. Schoolboys is trying to catch the 15 years old. And Landon Beatty in 10 seconds. All righty, 200C Schoolboy rounded that first turn in. That's the 414, Caden Sims from Bolton, West Virginia. 253 College, riders 18 to 24. 10 seconds. Jonathan Lafini, Tucker Watts, Robert Shaw, Levi Williams, Joseph Walls, Avery Brown, Seth Perrine, Mike Rango, Jared Waller, Austin Stubb, Dustin Anderson, Cooper Goldsberry, Thomas Pinoy, Louis Ripple, Blake Parker, Brandon Lowry, Justin Allen, Ashley Francis, David Billy Christian, Secretary Cameron Madison, Todd Applegrave, Blake Davis, and James Burgo, Garrett George, Jake Proctor, Chase